Joyce in bringing you one of the most important and the most amazing chapters of your syllabus, carbon and its compounds. Now, wondering why carbon has its own chapter? Even I wonder. The reason why it has its own chapter will be studied in this module, the introduction and the element carbon. So why is it so important? There are 119 elements known to us, and in these 119 elements, everyone is important in its own way. Like for example, hydrogen, helium, oxygen, neon, copper and whatnot. All these elements have their own important uses, but all of them disappear and only carbon stays back. Wondering why this happened? Let's do a small experiment. Let's distinguish the substances into things made out of metal, things that are made up of glass and clay, and the others which we have no clue about. These are the substances. So you can clearly see the metal crockery is clearly made up of metal. So things made out of metal, yes. Glass and clay, obviously the cup and saucer is made up of glass and clay. But what are the other things made up of? Do you have any clue what the other things are made up of? Let's see whom they are made up of. They are made up of carbon. So can you guess the common element? We guessed it to be carbon, and because carbon is there in every daily substance that we use, that is why we are studying carbon. So where is it found? So if it is so hugely found, it should be there in the Earth's crust, right? Well, no, it has only 0.02% existence in the form of minerals. And by minerals, I mean metal carbonates, metal bicarbonates. It is always available in the form of coal and petroleum, meaning the amount of carbon in the Earth's crust is very low. And there is one more source of carbon, that is the atmosphere. You know that carbon dioxide is exhaled by humans and plants, and we leave a lot of carbon dioxide by burning fuels, and it only constitutes to about 0.03% of carbon dioxide. So why are we even studying this chapter? I'll let you know. So carbon, let's understand what is carbon. The carbon element is a non-metal, and it was found from coal. So it is a major constituent of coal, and coal was called as carbo, and that is why we termed it as carbon. The symbol is C and the atomic number is 6. Now if the atomic number is 6, you know that it has 6 protons and 6 electrons. And if it has 6 electrons, the electronic configuration would be 2, 4. And because it is 2, 4, what will happen is it will gain or share 4 electrons, making its valency 4. So what will it do? Will it gain 4 electrons? Will it lose 4 electrons? Or will it just share? Let's see why or what it does. Carbon, my dear friends, has two options. Either to gain a stable state, to attain a stable state, it can either gain 4 electrons. That means it can take 4 electrons, but it would be mighty difficult for the nucleus to hold on to 4 extra electrons, that is just 6 protons and 10 electrons. It would be really difficult. So rule that out. It cannot gain 4 electrons. So then maybe it can lose 4 electrons. Let's see why it cannot lose 4 electrons. Just imagine the amount of energy it would take for carbon to lose 4 electrons. It would take a tremendous amount of energy to lose these 4 electrons. Also, now the carbon cation, that is the positive ion left behind, would have 6 protons in the nucleus, having only 2 electrons. Even that is impossible. So what does carbon do? Carbon shares. And we'll see how it does that in the next module. Take care.